Translation by H. T. Francis and R. A. Neil. Jataka number 396. Jataka. The peaks an arm length, etc. The master told this while living in Jetavana monastery, concerning the advice to a king. The occasion will appear in the Tisakuna birth. Once upon a time when Brahmadatta was reigning in Benares, the Bodhisattva was his counselor in things worldly and spiritual. The king was set on the way of the evil courses, ruled his kingdom unrighteously and collected wealth by oppressing the people. The Bodhisattva wishing to admonish him goes about looking for a parable. Now the king's bedchamber was unfinished and the roof was not complete upon it. The rafters supported a peak but were only just set in position. The king had gone and taken his time enjoying in the park. When he came to his house he looked up and saw the round peak. Fearing it would fall upon him he went and stood outside, then looking up again he thought, how is that peak resting so? And how are the rafters? And asking the Bodhisattva he spoke the first stanza. The peak's a arm length and a half in height. 8 spans will compass it in circuit round. Of Simsapa and Sarah built properly. Why does it stand so sound? Hearing him the Bodhisattva thought, I have now got a parable to admonish the king, and spoke these stanzas. The 30 rafters bent, of Sarah wood. Set equally, surrounded it around. They press it tightly, for their hold is good. It is set properly and sound. So is the wise man, surrounded by faithful friends. By devoted advisers and pure. Never from height of fortune he descends. As rafters hold the peak secure. While the Bodhisattva was speaking, the king considered his own conduct. If there is no peak, the rafters do not stand fast. The peak does not stand if not held by the rafters. If the rafters break, the peak falls. And even so a bad king, not holding together his friends and ministers, his armies, his Brahmins and householders, if these break up, is not held by them but falls from his power. A king must be righteous. At that instant they brought him a citron as a present. The king said to the Bodhisattva, Friend, eat this citron. The Bodhisattva took it and said, O king, people who know not how to eat this make it bitter or acid. But wise men who know take away the bitter. And without removing the acid or spoiling the citron flavor they eat it, and by this parable he showed the king the means of collecting wealth, and spoke 2 stanzas. The rough-skinned citron bitter is to eat. If it remain untouched by carver's steel. Take but the pulp, O king, and it is sweet. You spoil the sweetness if you add the peel. Even so the wise man without violence gathers king's dues in village and in town. Increases wealth, and yet gives no offense. He walks the way of right and of renown. The king taking advice with the Bodhisattva went to a lotus tank, and seeing a lotus in flower, with a color like the new risen sun, not defiled by the water, he said, Friend, that lotus grown in the water stands undefiled by the water. Then the Bodhisattva said, O king, so should a king be, and spoke these stanzas in advice. Like the lotus in the pool. White roots, waters pure, sustain it. In the sun's face flowering full. Dust nor mud nor wet can stain it. So the man whom virtues rule. Meek and pure and good we style him. Like the lotus in the pool. Stain of sin cannot defile him. The king hearing the Bodhisattva's advice, afterwards ruled his kingdom righteously, and doing good actions, charity and the rest, became destined for heaven. After the lesson, the master explained the truths and identified the birth. At that time the king was Ananda, the wise minister myself. Source. Adapted from archaic translation by H. T. Francis and R. A. Neil. Jataka number 397. Manoja Jataka. The bow is bent, etc. The master told this while living in the bamboo grove, concerning a brother who kept bad company. The occasion was given at length in the Mahilamakatta birth. The master said, Brethren, he is not keeping bad company for the first time, and told an old tale. Once upon a time when Brahmadatta was reigning in Benares, the Bodhisattva was a lion and living with a lioness had 2 children, a son and a daughter. The son's name was Manoja. When he grew up he took a young lioness to wife. And so they became 5. Manoja killed wild buffaloes and other animals, and so got flesh to feed his parents, sister and wife. One day in his hunting ground he saw a jackal called Giriya, unable to run away and lying on his belly. "How now, friend?" he said. "I wish to wait on you, my lord." "Well, do so." So he took the jackal to his den. The Bodhisattva seeing him said, "Dear Manoja, jackals are wicked and sinners, and give wrong advice. Don't bring this one near you." But could not hinder him. Then one day the jackal wished to eat horse flesh, and said to Manoja, "Sir, except horse flesh there is nothing we have not eaten. Let us take a horse." "But where are there horses, friend?" "At Benares by the river bank." He took this advice and went with him there when the horses bathe in the river. He took one horse, and throwing it on his back he came with speed to the mouth of his den. His father eating the horse flesh said, "Dear, horses are king's property, kings have many tactics, they have skillful archers to shoot. Lions who eat horse flesh don't live long, henceforth don't take horses." The lion not following his father's advice went on taking them. The king, hearing that a lion was taking the horses, had a bathing tank for horses made inside the town. But the lion still came and took them. The king had a stable made, and had fodder and water given them inside it. The lion came over the wall and took the horses even from the stable. The king had an archer called who shot like lightning, and asked if he could shoot a lion. He said he could, and making a tower near the wall where the lion came he waited there. The lion came and, posting the jackal in a cemetery outside, sprang into the town to take the horses. The archer thinking his speed is very great when he comes, did not shoot him, but when he was going away after taking a horse, hampered by the heavy weight, he hit him with a sharp arrow in the hind quarters. The arrow came out at his front quarters and flew in the air. The lion yelled, "I am shot." The archer after shooting him twanged his bow like thunder. The jackal hearing the noise of lion and bow said to himself, "My comrade is shot and must be killed, there is no friendship with the dead, I will now go to my old home in the wood," and so he spoke 2 stanzas. Dash. The bow is bent, the bowstring sounds great. Manoja, king of beasts, my friend, is killed. Alas, I seek the woods as best I may. Such friendships nothing. Others must be my stay. The lion with a rush came and threw the horse at the den's mouth, falling dead himself. His family came out and saw him blood-stained, blood flowing from his wounds, dead from following the wicked. And his father, mother, sister, and wife seeing him spoke 4 stanzas in order. Dash. His fortune is not prosperous whom wicked folk entice. Look at Manoja lying there, through Giriya's advice. No joy have mothers in a son whose comrades are not good. Look at Manoja lying there all covered with his blood. And even so fares still the man, in low estate he lies, who follows not the advice of the true friend and the wise. This, or worse than this, his fate. Who is high, but trusts the low. See, it is thus from kingly state. He has fallen to the bow. Lastly, the stanza of the perfect wisdom. Dash. Who follows outcasts is himself outcast. Who courts his equals never will be betrayed. Who bows before the noblest rises fast. Look therefore to your betters for your aid. After the lesson, the master explained the truths and identified the birth. After the truths the brother who kept bad company was established in the fruition of the first path. At that time the jackal was Devdutta, Manoja was the keeper of bad company, his sister was Ippalavana, his wife the sister Kema, his mother the mother of Rahul, his father myself.